get started. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Alrighty, first things first, second things second. Is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes from last regular meeting of May 26th, 2026?
I'll make a motion to approve the May 26th, 2026 meeting.
Thank you, Ron. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, any corrections? Things got left out or things that needed to be added back that should have been? Not hearing any. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. No one is opposed. They are approved. How about, is there a motion to adopt tonight's agenda?
I'll make a motion to adopt tonight's agenda.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mike. All those, any changes to the agenda?
No, the highlighted areas were added.
Since the one that was online?
Mhm.
Wow.
The flooring ones just came in today, didn't they?
Yes.
Oh, for the commons. Isn't that a concrete floor?
It is concrete with the polished,
What are they gonna do?
put carpeting
Oh.
over. It's pretty torn up.
Oh, okay. Alrighty, having motion and a second, not hearing any changes or to the agenda, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. Okay, next up we have public comments and questions. Remember, I don't need to read that, I don't think, but remember you've got 3 minutes. You're not to talk about personnel. And the board will listen to what you have to say. So first up is Mr. Rod Larson.
Good evening. Silence. Silence is golden. An ugly silence. A pregnant silence. A conspiracy of silence. An echoing silence. Interesting that. How can something that makes no sound echo? Sounds of silence. You can't hear it, but sounds are attached. Fearful silence. Prayerful silence. Contemplative silence. Your silence speaks volumes. A fun word to play with, a powerful word, a word used to convey vivid imagery, or it makes short phrase profoundly expressive. A word that is at the heart of issues I have addressed before this board each time I have previously spoken. In the context of these issues, silence is not golden. Indeed, these issues breed and grow in a culture of silence. In this culture, settlements bind parties to silence. In this culture, because of confidentiality, there's a word, no record of wrongs is kept, no faults assigned, facts are hushed, the violated assuaged with cash, justice shrouded in silence. A curtain drawn between institutional failings and the public to whom the institution is accountable, thereby protecting the image of the institution and denying accountability. I previously gave what I felt was a clarion call for transparency. Silence is not transparent. It seems this call, to borrow from Simon and Garfunkel, is echoing in the wells of silence. It's been reported that the cost of participation in the risk management pool is going up 45%. The cost of silence, of inaction, is echoed in the budget, 45%. This strongly suggests problems in public education. Yet we are told by the administration that student safety is a top priority. In my book, using the cost of risk pool participation as a metric to evaluate the success of public education in meeting student safety objectives results in an F. Cash settlements, silence. Confidentiality, silence. Collective bargaining agreement constraints, silence. I've heard that a male student was sexually assaulted by other male students in the boys' bathroom this year. Silence emboldens. How many other students must suffer assaults of various nature before this board administration do more than give lip service to student safety? Face reality, communicate with the public, admit to failings, seek solutions, solicit public input, look to external sources, act now, speak out, denounce the status quo, identify obstacles to successfully providing for student safety, surmount those obstacles, tear down barriers, embrace a culture of open communication, stop the institution allowing harm to those it contracts with the community to protect, to keep it safe.
Thank you,
Now,
Rod.
before the silence,
Rod,
that was
Rod,
our ear.
thanks. We appreciate it, and I think we got the message. Next up is Megan Hearns. I believe that, or is it Harns?
Megan Harris.
Thank
I hope we're receiving the message, I truly do. I've been living in Fort for 10 years, and I've recently removed both my children from their schools for their own safety. It was a difficult decision to place them in schools that have less resources. It's hard knowing I pay the taxes here to go to this school. It's hard because me and my husband both working, we contribute. Assuming you're remaining silent about Kyle Weekly due to legal responsibility, and seeing the Larsons here every meeting, begging for answers, can you please give us a ballpark and public response as to when we can expect the judicial process to end and the public to be informed? I find this a reasonable question, I really do. I would like to remind the board that it's not the first time we've remained uninformed. Diane makes almost $20,000 a month to keep the board protected and provide information of the ongoings of school staff as written in her contract. She is to refer to significant criticisms, complaints, so sorry guys, I'm nervous since we did that,
That's okay.
and suggestions with study and recommendation. This is where I personally feel she has violated this part of her contract, and maybe I'm not saying I'm correct. This board has a financial and moral obligation to provide transparency. I encourage the board, as they discuss performances in August, not to increase the superintendent's rate of pay until you have confirmed she is upholding her contract. I encourage you to take other actions as well if need be. We, the parents, were not properly informed about the lead in our children's drinking water until Sarah Decker was hired and released public information, to my knowledge. These are only two examples of why my children can't attend here. There are many more. We are morally better than this. I know Forks is. I know at track events, there have been safety concerns even recently after you were honored to have Carl Larson as a coach again. Why are we still paying money when we're the ones left without resources for our most vulnerable citizens in town, our children? How would you feel if your daughter was Carl Larson?
Thank you. Shannon Gadesky.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I'm Shannon Gadetsky. I'm here again. Frankly, I'm tired of being here. I'm here for the same reason. I'm here to talk to you about the lack of action after the lawsuit that my sister brought against QVSD was completed. Why do we still have no resolution? I'd love to talk to you about all the things that I've been learning about proactive measures that you can take as a school board to develop better policies, better training, better protect the children in our schools. I don't know what else to do except keep coming back here to talk to you. I'd love for you to reach out and talk to me. I'd love to see some resolution on this. Recently, I have some notes. June 2nd, the courts awarded attorney's fees to Kari in Larson versus QVSD. $500,000. If this is news to you school board members, ask yourselves why. I encourage you to dig in to what's going on right here in our school district. Please make changes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Shannon. Pam Gale.
Hi, I'm Pam Gale. In a place of work where if you see it, say it, is state mandated by law, please be aware it's pretty risky business at QVSD. After testifying in the Larson versus QVSD trial, where I did tell the truth and continue to tell the truth, not all community members are happy to hear what I had to say and continue to say. Since the hearing, I have had cars swerved at me, people stalk me, and one person actually says, "Sure wish I had a gun," when seeing me. That's a little nervy on a day that we were actually on a lockdown here at school. Now, I kept this to myself, and the more I thought about it, the more I thought I needed to share this. So here I am. Enough has gone on for me since the trial. I actually seek protection for myself, something I've never had to do my whole entire life. Pretty amazing. Is there any doubt there's a hostile environment around me? I'm thinking pretty so. Pretty sad considering my husband and I have been active community members for decades, seeking only the best for Forks and our school district. Even my husband's tenure on the school board was only a very long attempt to help build our district and keep our kiddos safe. Not for him to have a title. He truly believed, as I still do, that we make a difference if we just follow the truth. In closing, I would like to quote past principal Cindy Fiesel. If you value your integrity, then be prepared to take in a beating from those who have none. To our community, our school, and most importantly, our children, I am prepared. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. All right, well, we appreciate your comments. Thank you. And there are no others signed up, so we'll go on to continue. Is there a motion to adopt tonight's consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to adopt tonight's consent agenda.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any questions?
Yeah, on the floor covering for the entry for the gym, is all that concrete gonna be carpeted? Or just the entrance coming in?
From the doors up to where the hallway chokes down right there. So it's a large area up past there, almost to the closet doors that are there. So just past the concession stand and come around and it chokes down a little bit. You have those closet doors right there, right up to the edge of that. And so the spark gets moved back. The whole floor gets an entry mat, big carpet, and then it gets a big cutout in the middle of it. That says, I think it's welcome to Forks High School. It has a spark.
Plus they're gonna do the
On the other end of it.
whole commons.
The commons, that section there, we're just kind of making it into a nice area for students to be where those blocks are. We're gonna get rid of those blocks, all those out there.
Good.
And then put some furniture there, so all that stuff.
Yeah.
Stop them from running all over that thing and jumping all over. it.
Yeah.
So what's the matter with the floor? It's concrete.
It's concrete, and I'm gonna put, it's called abrasive action. It's a carpet that will go in that section.
Why did we decide to do that?
Part of that entry makeover,
Oh,
that was in the plan for the entry.
okay, isn't it gonna be harder to maintain?
I don't think so. I think it'll be just about the same.
Okay,
Actually, it'll be less a little bit when I think of it, because we don't have to wax it.
will it make it quieter in the commons?
For the commons, that's right outside the commons, so.
But it's not the actual commons that's being done?
No, the commons, it's the entry.
The
of the
entryway.
commons, and the other part's the entry for the main.
But this on the thing says agreement between Burrisford and QVSD installation of floor covering in Forks High School Commons.
They wrote it commons, it's just right outside the door.
It's that area right in front.
Oh, okay, so we're not doing the commons,
No.
we're just doing that whole area where the blocks are out to the front door. Oh,
The entryways.
that makes
right there,
a little
and
more
then the
sense.
entryway.
Okay. And you're gonna move the blocks and do what?
The blocks all come out of there, and then it's carpeted, and then Brenda has some furniture that she's purchasing to put in there.
Oh,
That'd be nice.
like folding chairs.
Yes, kind of like comfortable seating like back here in the back of the library. They get
Oh, okay.
students and safe for the littles when they're coming in during basketball and volleyball games.
Yeah, okay. No jungle gyms.
Right.
Okay,
I've been
thanks.
scared of people watching.
Appreciate the clarification. Any other questions?
I did on the phones, the desktop phones. What's the
So
scoop on that?
we have a 6-year lease that's coming up and it costs us between $6,000 and $8,000 a month to support the phones. And if we re-up it, then we would have to pay that monthly. If we got new phones, the phones would pay for themselves in a year where we don't have that service fee anymore. So it's actually a cost savings. The phones will be
We
paid.
buy 'em.
We buy them.
rather
And then
than
on
random?
top of it, there's a new unfunded mandate that require phones to be associated with rooms. So if there's a 911, a safety issue, then it indicates the actual room number that the 911 call came from. These phones do not allow for that to happen. And there's other features that you can use for safety.
These phones
measures.
don't, the ones we currently have.
The ones we currently have, yeah.
Don't do
And they're
that.
about 8 years old, 9 years old.
There's 210 phones. So that's every classroom gets one?
Every classroom, every office space.
And earlier stating like they'll have video also possible. We can add.
We could add, if we had a door entry lock where the teacher could then let students in, that you could see who was at the door. There's all other features. Right now, we're gonna stay with the minimum and get used to the phones to work,
See how they work.
Yeah. but it's actually a cost savings.
Okay,
Absolutely. That's a huge amount of money.
Yeah.
yeah, Shannon said they did it at her business,
Yeah.
something similar.
Yeah.
Buy the phone rather than rent it, or lease it, or whatever they call it. Okay. Any other questions on the consent agenda? Not hearing any. Did we get a motion?
We did, let me go back up. Shannon
Okay.
moved and Ron seconded.
All right, so we have the motions, first and second. So all those in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. All right, move on to unfinished business. This is the Forks Middle School replacement project. Corey Plager.
So Corey is our bond specialist from DA Davidson. Thank you for joining us, Corey.
Diana, thank you for having me. It's been our pleasure to support Coulee Valley. This is my 9th year of supporting the district. I think some of you have met my predecessor, John Gores, who helped with the prior bond that was voted on in 2009. And I think the school board refinanced that bond subsequently. So I put together a somewhat brief presentation to set the stage. If you recall, in 2024, a handful of years ago, we came and visited and talked to you about your bonds are set to mature in the next few years. And then in last year, we talked about federal forest funds and how that's changing. And so now we're at a point now we're getting closer to that time where your bonds are maturing. So Diana and I put together some information for you today. And the 3 things I'm going to share is just a very quick overview. I can't recall if there's anybody new on the board since I've been there last, so I put just a real quick brief introduction together. Then while I have all of your attendance here in front of this presentation, I'm going to talk to you about your current tax rates. So I'm going to give you a fresh update through 2026. And then the other considerations are possible bond planning scenarios for your consideration. So thank you. I think, I'm not sure who's running the presentation. That's you, Hazel, but thank you for moving the slides along. If you move to slide 3, the 3 different types of taxes and levies available to school districts are education program and operations levies. We know levies are for learning. We're not going to talk about that a lot tonight. That levy has been approved through 2029 by voters, but it's really important to keep that in mind as we look at taxes, right? When we're looking at a school bond, we want to make sure that school bond is part of a comprehensive plan alongside with the levy so that you can have a stable tax rate and not have any kind of surprises or unpredictability that might lead to voter fatigue or voter being confused. So while we're not going to talk about education program and operations levies tonight, it's a big topic that we want to keep in the peripheral as we were planning for a bond to make sure that that's part of the plan too, that these things kind of go together like puzzle pieces. The capital projects levies, those common uses, technology, safety, security. Sometimes people run capital projects levies when they don't have significant needs. When the needs are more, we need to replace a roof, we need to fix HVAC, but they don't need construction of schools or remodeling of schools. So that's one option to keep in the back of your mind too, as you're moving forward. But the real reason of this presentation today is to talk about school bonds. Bonds are for buildings. You can do a bond for up to 40 years, 20 to 25 is the most common. The biggest challenge with bond is the 60% supermajority. You can't ask for whatever you want. You have a limit. You have two limits, really. One is a legal limit, and that is the debt capacity by the state of Washington. That is 45 million. Then you have a logical limit that what the community will support and what they'd be in favor for from a tax perspective. So a little bit more of a planning limit than a legal limit. And I mentioned earlier, your last bond was approved in 2009. It was subsequently refinanced, I think, in 2016. At the time that the board refinanced that bond, which was $11 million, the school board saved the district an additional $1 million to the taxpayers. And so that is the one that's set to mature here in the next couple of years. On the next slide, you'll notice here in green are all your education levies. And one thing you're going to notice is pretty significant support from the Forks and outlying community for your education levies. The bond, it took a couple opportunities to pass in 2008 and 2009 in gray. But one thing this shows is a significant support from your community for sure. We're noticing across the state a real deteriorated support for education. And so to see a 60% yes number in 2025 has been pretty rare in our state. We're noticing that folks have some hangover feelings about the McCleary legislation and or the pandemic. So to have those kind of numbers are pretty unique. We're not seeing many school districts with those kind of numbers right now. On the next slide, just a little bit more information. Why is an education levy 50% and a school bond 60%? In this map, you'll notice all the states in gray are simple majority states. Texas, Colorado, Oregon, Montana, you name it. Most states are 50% states. Washington is still a 60% supermajority state, and there has been discussions at the legislative Olympia level to whether or not they want to revisit that. But you'll notice there are a few states still in our nation that are 60% supermajority. But bonds are the primary way that governmental entities do facility improvements. If you see a new library, or if you see a new bridge on I-5, or if you see a new park in Spokane, Riverfront Park, almost all these things were done by school bonds or by municipal bonds. So this is the primary way. There's grants are few and far between. There might be some tribal grants or some other grants that you might see certain school districts eligible for, but this is the primary way that you can consider doing facility improvements. And the way that this is different from a levy is a levy, people pay their taxes and it goes into your county treasurer and you can use that for payroll and payables. The way that a bond is different is once the voters say yes, you go get the full voter approved amount up front, and then bondholders are repaid with property taxes. So it's a little bit different than a levy where you just start to collect money and you save up. This one gives you the authority to get investors on board, and then you tax people to repay the investors. And one thing that's a benefit to the school districts is your bonds are tax exempt. So you might be asked by a neighbor, is now the right time to consider a bond? I just did a car loan at 6.5%, or my home mortgage is 7%. And we're in the market right now and our interest rates are around 4%. And that's because you get to benefit from tax exempt provisions in with our federal government. So we're going into the market tomorrow for Port Townsend, and our forecasting will be right around the 4% mark. So not that not elevated. That is a little bit higher with the Iran crisis and oil prices and inflation. So rates are a little bit elevated. But one thing I do share is that your bonds are tax exempt and not the same as like a mortgage rate or a car loan rate at the moment. Any questions on that slide before I move on?
What are the,
Gloria?
oh,
Oh,
sorry.
go ahead.
What are the blue, the brown and the yellow and the purple?
Yeah,
What
I
are
know the
their-
font's pretty small here. Sorry about that. The blue is Idaho. They are 2/3 majority. It takes 66.67% to pass a bond. I think the last time a bond was passed in Idaho was about 7 years ago in Lewiston. California is a brown, that is 55%. So their constitution has a little bit of a more than simple majority, but less than super majority. And then Missouri, I don't know how they came up with 4/7. Do the math real quick in your head there. Is that 56%? And then there's a couple states where they have no bonding process. You kind of have to get in line with the state and apply to OSPI or the state of Washington. So states like Kentucky or Hawaii have a different model where the voters aren't in the loop and it goes to the state and the state doles out how much you get. So there's a couple different systems out there, but as you can see, most are either a 50% or a 60% model.
Okay, thanks, sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
And then Corey, I don't know if you're going to bring this up later on, but also when we have a bond pass, then we get our timber dollars that are designated for the debt service fund. And just for your information, that is roughly anywhere between 300,000 and $500,000 a year. Sometimes lower, sometimes higher, but we've tracked it for the last 20 years and it's generally about that amount. And those dollars stay in the debt service fund. They're excess funds that are considered local where the board can then transfer them for other projects. But if we don't have a bond out, we don't get those monies. That money stays with the county.
Right, the county gets a certain amount based on the yield of those timber dollars, those timber outputs, and you get your share based on the percentage of the taxation you have. So it would be split between the other Clallam and Jefferson County schools. And in previous meetings, we talked about your final full-size payment is in 2027. In 2028, your bond payment is reduced, and then in 2029, you have no bond payment. So if the board should act to do no bond replacement, then you'll possibly give up those kind of matching dollars. Essentially, those dollars are going into that fund to help you support the facilities and or repayment of debt. On the next slide, I have just a real brief update that shows what percentage of schools that try bonds pass. And in 2025 or 26, it got cut off a little bit there, is about 40% of school bonds right now are passing, which is a lot better than they were right after the pandemic. In your area, Bremerton, Sequim, Port Townsend, and Port Angeles have all passed bonds in the last few years. So while it's still not easy to get 60%, we're starting to see a little bit of recovery in our markets, and but it is a little bit challenging at 60% of people to agree on anything, really, let alone taxes. So, and you have a couple different opportunities when you can submit a proposition to the voters. You can go February, April, August, or November. One thing you'll notice is nobody in August has been successful. It's hard to get people on board with something when the teachers are on a well-deserved break. Summer vacations are in the middle. So that's been a tough month. Other than that, the statistics are pretty similar throughout. While February has a slight favor on April and November, one piece of advice that we have when it comes to a bond is when you're ready and when the strategy makes sense for what you have and what your needs are, then that's when you choose. To try not to pick a month based on statistics. And on this slide here, you'll see if you did choose November of 26, and that might be important for several reasons. The first reason would be is that's the time when you're going to get the most turnout, is to do a midterm November or a presidential November. If you're really looking to get the most turnout, the most voters involved with this process, then going November is a really good opportunity. Another reason that some districts right now are considering November of 26 is because there's a change in the way our state school construction assistance program is managed. And a 2027 bond is going to use a different level of enrollment than 2026 bond. So it's possible you could generate more state match funding with a 26 election because they're going to use a different look back on enrollment. In 27, their look back will probably include more of the COVID decline enrollment numbers than the 26 opportunity. So Diane, I'm not sure if you'd like to add to that.
Yeah, it's a difference. We're almost at 21 million, if not 22 million. And if we go out in November of 2026, if we wait till the following year of 2027, it's 15 to 16 million. That's the difference in state matching dollars that we would get.
So those dates here, Diana, show that if you were looking forward to November 26th and trying to capitalize on that state matching funds, that means the board would have to bring forth a resolution by August 4th. And what that would mean is your legal team, Foster Garvey, would put together a draft for you that probably review in July for adoption. And that resolution specifies the language that would go on the ballot, the not to exceed dollar amount, and how many years you'd like the bond to be. So those are the type of decisions you need to make by the July meeting is dollar amount, projects to be used, and the length of the bond. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Perfect. Now this slide is showing a little bit of changes. Sometimes there's a translation between Google or Apple, so this slide looks a little bit goofy, but if you look at the bars, what this chart is showing you is how big your economy in the Quileute Valley School District has grown over the last few years. And there's a couple ways to think about this. One is this is the amount of all the property added together, homes, farms, businesses, et cetera, any taxable property that's deeded. And one thing you'll notice is there's been a little bit of a wave and then a spike lately. This has been due to a couple reasons. One is there's been big changes in timber in 2024. So that original spike was not only were homes being reassessed at a much higher level, but there is also a big spike in timber values that have simmered down in 25 and 26. And you're having more new construction. You had $7 million of new construction in 2026. So you're starting to see some more development, some more homes being built. And so this just shows a visual of your economy per se in the Forks and the surrounding area. So how does that impact your tax rates? If it's okay, would it be okay if I shared my screen?
Oh, sure.
I'm not sure if it will. I'm going to share my screen, then I'm going to jump to that slide because it's a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Looks different.
How does that look? Can you see that okay?
Yeah.
Perfect. So sometimes there's a translation issue when people open it in Google or Apple. This shows the Quileute Valley School District tax rates from 2010 to present. And in green is your education programs and operations levy. And in tan is your school bond amounts. Do you remember when I showed you your slide that showed your economy growing and the timber values going up and spiking? You can see that represented here because just because property values go up doesn't mean the school board can instantly collect more funds. There are some government entities that can, but not school districts. You have to go to the voters to get any kind of increase. So take a look at 2018. You were at $3.80. And look at 2024, you bottom it out at $2.06. So anytime your community grows and has new construction, there's more taxpayers, so that rate comes down. And then you'll notice in 2026, there was a reset of your education programs and operations levy. The community is really supportive of that EP&O levy going back to $1.50, which would allow you to maximize your local effort assistance state matching dollars. Diane, do you have that number off the top of your head, how much the matching dollars was?
Yeah, when we hit $1.50, we're about 4 to 5 million a year, somewhere in that ballpark. And when we were below at the 82, we were about 2 or 3 million of collection. And then again, the community members are already getting taxed on that in the P1 or P2 on your tax. That's a state thing. And so if we didn't increase that to $1.50, we lost out on money that we're already being taxed on. You guys did make the decision because think our dollar, we do a collection amount. And Corey, I don't have the number right in front of me, but it was a little over $1 million, I think $1.1 million or something. And that actually, when we looked at the tax rate, because we didn't know what it would be, it was going to be at $1.69. So we rolled back that collection. You have the authority, and you chose to roll that back so we could get to as close as $1.50 to what we had promised to our taxpayers. Did I say that right, Corey?
Yeah, you did. I think we raised the levy around $500,000 to $600,000 locally to generate millions of dollars from the state. And you mentioned that the taxpayers in your area are paying taxes to the state, to Olympia, and this just guarantees you get that back and then some. You're getting more back from the state now than you put in. And if you did not increase your local levy by that 500 to 600,000, then it would, all that increase in LEA would just go away. So there are significant benefits, and I think it looked like the community understood that and supported your levy at 60% yes. There might be a little sticker shock, but you'll notice the tax rate today in 2026 is still lower historically over time. This looks pretty stable to me. I know that there's an increase this year from last year, and that voters are going to feel that. But if you look at over time, there's been no real big spikes or drops. It's been pretty stable. And that's one thing that is our goal as a bond underwriter too, is to try and come up with plans that are as stable as possible for the taxpayer so they can have a predictability in their tax bill. So this shows you the taxes that the board has direct control over, the levy in green, the bond in tan. This next one is a little bit confusing because now it shows the state schools tax that we were mentioning, the taxes that are paid to Olympia that get put into the blender and sent out to school districts across the state based on how many special ed students you have, how many bus routes you have, how many meals you serve, etc. And you'll notice in gray is the state schools tax, and in dark gray is state schools tax 2 passed upon McCleary. And you'll see this one has some stability as well, but there's a pretty big spike in 2018, a decrease in 23 and 24, and we're back to kind of normal levels in 26.
And Corey, if you would go to your county tax sheet, it's the first 2 items. It says P1 and P2 on your county taxes.
Yeah, and as I said, most schools get back more than their communities pay, except a few exclusions like Seattle Public Schools, Lake Washington, Issaquah, Bellevue. Those communities tend to pay taxes and not get as much back from the state. But if we showed you the math, you would notice, and I know it's not a consolation to those that are maybe frustrated with the amount of taxes they pay, but the Cooley Valley School District does get back more than they pay compared to the rest of the schools. So there is a benefit there. It's just, I wanted to make sure that as we talk about taxes, I didn't leave off the state schools taxes that you mentioned, Anna, P1, P2, and how it shows on your county statements. And this year I'm using the Clallam County results. They're different in every county. So I want to just set the stage for what I'm about to share now. And now I'm going to look forward. So we looked back, we're looking in history, a pretty stable set of taxes with an increase this year. Now I put together a plan on what the board might want to consider for moving forward. And this plan has 4 aspects that go into it when I build this plan. The first is, what are interest rates doing? They're elevated right now because of the geopolitical crisis in the Middle East, and that's impacted oil. Oil has impacted inflation, which may mean bonds just lose a little bit of their value. Your bond rating, your investment grade credit. I'll show you a little bit more on that number later. Assessed value is how many people are in your community that can pay taxes. And number 4 is bond structure, 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. So those 4 things go into a plan. When I was building this plan and these options, I didn't want to assume that we would stay at today's interest rates. I didn't want the board to move forward with a plan and tell their neighbor, hey, if you vote yes, this is how much your taxes will be, and then have it be more than the board promised. So I put in a cushion. I put in today's interest rates plus 0.75% or 1% on these models. And this is to try and determine that we want to outperform these estimates. So every estimate I'm going to show you, know that there's a cushion in here. We're also assuming that you're going to continue with a rating of an A3, which is investment grade credit. and that the state will have a policy where they're still willing to guarantee your bonds to the market, and that the state has a AAA rating. So I assume those two things. I also assumed a conservative assessed valuation growth. Your average is about 10% per year when we combine home value, business value changes, and timber changes. While your average is 9%, I think that would be a little greedy for us to assume that that's going to keep happening. So I downgraded that to 3% for the next couple years, and then 2.5% thereafter. Anytime your economy actually grows faster than these numbers I'm using of 2 to 3%, that means your tax rate will come down. It doesn't mean the school will collect more money. It just means that you can tax people a lower rate to get the same dollars to pay your principal and interest. Then I have a couple different scenarios here. I have 20 to 30 years with multiple sales here. So I want to show you, I'm a visual learner. So I put together some visual tax rate charts looking forward. You see, this looks just like what I just showed you that had the history of the taxes. In green is your education levy, and in tan is your existing bonds. But now I have blue overlaid the top of it. This is what it would look like if we did today a $34 million bond. And I got these numbers from Diane as ballparks for your project. And so a $34 million bond over 20 years, you can see in blue, we started in 2028. And we started in 28 because that's when your bonds start to mature. They start to decrease. And then in 2021, 29, they fully mature. So I see that that would be $1.38 in a new bond. But you'll notice the difference here is about 90 cents. So if you were going to the voters and had to communicate with them, you would say, for 90 additional cents, we could get $34 million for 20 years. So before I talk about some additional structures, are there any questions about this 90 cents model? So Diana asked me, well, Corey, what if we stretched it? What would happen if we did a 25-year term? So I'm going to page advance this, and you'll see what happens is the tax rate decreases. And now we stretch out 34 million over 5 more years. This is like my first car loan was 4-year car loan, and my last car loan was a 5-year car loan. It's the same kind of principle where we can just stretch it out a little bit further. But what's going to happen is the tax rate will be lower, but for 5 more years. So you're going to pay more interest. So this model here as a board is you're trying to think about balancing how much you want to tax your local community versus how much interest you want to pay as an entity, right? We're trying to find that sweet spot. If you're trying to minimize interest paid, you do as short as bond as possible. If you're trying to minimize the impact on your taxpayers, you try and do the longest bond as possible. So what's that middle ground? What's that board recommendation? So we put these together so you could kind of think about it. Now I did one more thing I did is we have a lot of schools doing 20-year bonds and 25-year bonds. We haven't had a school do a 30 bond in probably a decade, but I still put together a model for you. And what you'll notice is it doesn't change much. I'm going to go back and forth on the screen here. As you go from slide 15 to 16, what you're going to notice is it doesn't have as big of an impact because you start to have way more interest now in 10 more years. So to visually show the difference between these three, I did one more slide. This top slide, the slide right here shows in green, what would be your total tax rate if you did a 20-year, then 25-year, then 30 years? You're going to notice that the difference in tax rate was a lot greater of a savings between 20 and 25 years. But that 30-year model, in the beginning, the tax rate doesn't change much because the interest is a little bit higher, but it does eventually have a benefit to your taxpayers. So I thought this visual would kind of help you see what the total tax rate would look like over time. And so any questions on this before I show one more slide?
We're good, Corey.
Okay, so the last slide I have is what if the board feels that the 34 million option, none of these three look like something they're willing to support? I just showed you one more option here. This is a $30 million bond, so a little bit less at 25 years. This one right here is 22 cents lower than the $34 million option. So you can see, you can kind of ballpark it, 22 cents is equal to $4 million. And that's in the first year. So if you're trying to get this amount, so now this would say, what is this, a 45-cent about increase? So if you didn't like a bigger 90 cents or an 80-cent increase, this one tries to minimize the taxpayer impact by reducing the amount. Sometimes the challenges there would be you might be eligible for less state match dollars. So our job is to try and find that sweet spot of what you feel you need for your projects, but also what the community would support. So we stand at the ready to run as many estimates as you need. If you need 15 million, 5 million, 20 million, you name it, we'll run you some models and get them in front of you for helping with support your decision making. Diana, that's all I got. Happy to answer any questions or talk about anything I didn't address.
I think that's probably, that was a little clarifying to me, so how about the rest of you?
Lots of information.
Yeah.
I
A
think
lot of
Corey,
numbers.
I think
Yeah.
Corey, next steps, I'll put some things together with your help and then assistance from our attorneys, and then I'll give the board options. And then again, get back with the scary part and just talking with other school districts who passed their bonds is the sticker shock that's occurring, where prices have gone up dramatically for all kinds of reasons within the last year or two. But more specifically in the last 6 months.
You mean sticker shock for what we're buying?
For what we
Things
think
we
we're
buy.
gonna get and
Yeah.
what we can actually get with the money.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, your last bond was 11.5 million in 2009. I'd argue that probably goes a lot farther today than 30 million, which is sad how inflation has been over the last 20 years.
Yeah, yeah. I think our overall project, we had a 9 million match. That was back when they had the online kids in the state formula. And we built the half of this high school for 20 million in 2009. So, or 2010, 2012, to give you kind of an idea. So doubled, tripled, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll be in touch if I need other additional things. Corey, we really appreciate you being here and so succinctly sharing the complexity of bond planning.
Yes, let me know if any questions pop up. In the office all week.
Okay, thank you.
All right, good luck, everybody. Good to see you.
Bye. Okay.
There's a lot.
Next on unfinished business is the Spartan Ball Fields, Phase 1 and Phase 1.
So we have Jay Hansen, our architect, online. Is that correct?
Yeah, Jay's on.
Okay. And then we have Bill Henderson here as well. And Bill, are you going to walk through the talking points with
I'll go
Jay's
through the
help,
talking
or do you
points
want?
A little bit.
Okay.
As we start through, I know Jay's there available for you guys' needs. So basically the plans are all completed. We're ready for bid. And just a kind of an overview. Again, it's a girls' fast pitch field, a boys' baseball field. They're both turf, small bathroom, centrally located. It's got the access for ambulance gates in the back of it, a 10-inch culvert that goes underneath of it to pull some of the water from the field. The good thing is we've also tied the elementary parking lot into this, and so that should drain off the elementary parking lot, which will stop that flooding in the front. And that was a big plus for this. That was one thing that it's a non-negotiable, has to be done. And so they're gonna grab an 8-inch pipe and run it from the dry well that's in there out to the 18-inch culvert pipe. They also put in a wetland drainage into the field, which will take all the water from the fields themselves and take all the water into there. We got really good infiltration results. Once they got down deep enough, we got really good results. As a matter of fact, they had the fire hose on, and it was all they could do. It just kept taking water. And so that's what we were looking for. But it's down about 21 feet, so they got to go down a little deeper. Both fields have scoreboards. The bathroom facility has a little booth on top to run those scoreboards. The bathroom facility is very small. It is one bathroom, one toilet in each side, one men's side, women's side. And then in the middle is a little custodial closet that has hot water heater, some items so that you clean up and stuff in the bathrooms and whatnot, but very small bathroom. nothing like we have out of the football field, very small. But the building is built so that we can add on to it in the future. And so there's some things in this that are alternates that in the future, we plan on taking them, but RCO will not pay for certain items. So we got $1.2 million from RCO for this project, and RCO won't pay for future lighting. They won't pay for dugouts, regular lighting. They just don't pay for those things. They pay for the athletic facility. So those are alternates that will go out that we plan to accept. If we don't like our number, we can say, no, we don't want the field lighting conduits that we plan on putting in. So, and that's out there a ways. But again, you want to put in your conduit now so that you're not tearing up around your ball fields later on when you want to add your field lighting. But field lighting itself is going to be $1 million plus, I'm guessing. So we just knew we didn't have the money for it, but at the same time, since
So
we're
the
tearing it up,
bathrooms are included in this?
the bathrooms are included in this. So what you're getting in this right here, it's 2 phases to this project. Actually 3 phases, but the 2 phases that we're doing right now is, first phase is that this portion will go out to bid for all of the groundswork, the fences, the dugouts, all that stuff.
Is all gonna be done in the first, no, isn't it a 2-year
It's gonna
process?
take 2 years, correct?
Right.
But the second part of that is, and it's on the agenda here, is we're going to buy the turf through KCDA or Sourcewell and save money for the taxpayer and also the district.
KCDA is the state entity where they've already done the pre-bidding, and so you can lower, when we put in Spartan Field, we use KCDA.
So all the groundswork, everything gets done through the bid, and then we pick the turf we want. We do a contract with them. They come in and they just put down, it's like a carpet. They put the carpet down on top, add all the infill to it, and go from there. Saves us dollars. There's no contractor markup and such tied to it. So keeps that cost down when you're looking at, $1 million plus in turf. So, but on the plans,
So you go through a lot of work on this.
we've had a lot of meetings on this. We've gone through a lot of work, a lot of infiltration testing. Jay has been on top of it. AHBL, the same ones that designed the football field, are doing all the grounds work for this one. Hargis, which we've used for the roof project over at the elementary school that we're getting ready. They did the mechanical work and electrical for this. And so these are people we've worked with. Jay is on top of it. I will tell you, we have our meetings and we have the minutes later that afternoon. He's right on top of it.
Read all this stuff.
So
There's a lot to it.
if this goes to bid, whoever gets the bid does everything short of the turf.
Everything
Is that
short of
correct?
the turf. They'll do the fencing, they'll do everything short of the turf.
Any building that needs to be
They
done,
build the buildings, they
and
build
they
the
make it
dugouts.
turf ready in terms of leveling them.
The bleachers will be on the end for us. The bleachers are just something we'll buy through KCDA or Sourcewell. They're just same thing that's down at the park now.
Because it's gonna be sunshine and they're having to play baseball.
Oh, you're looking for a dome, are you?
So Bill, how many bidders do you think you're gonna have? Or
So,
people that
I've talked to
sent out?
Hope. Hope plans on pulling it, taking a look at it. ICI plans on it. Let's see,
Broadland?
Neely planned on it.
Neely.
Rodman's also planned on it. I think Corsmo, talking to Jay, they planned on it. So there's a few,
So
there's
you gotta
5 there. Yeah, they planned on pulling the bids and looking at, or pulling the plans, taking a look at it. The hard part is we got held up for about a month because of infiltration testing. They did the first round of infiltration testing, didn't get the numbers they wanted, had to go down deeper, and then they got everything they needed. But it held us up a month. So we're bidding later than we planned on. We planned on bidding in May.
How deep they go, 21 feet?
21 to 23 feet in there. And they got the numbers. Once they got down past that silty material, they got into some good rock and stuff, and it was good.
So there is gravel.
I think they got 50 gallons a minute, and that's because that's as much as the fire hose could put down there at the time when they were turning it on. So
That other set of plans you gave us a while back,
it was close. That
are
was
those obsolete? This is the new?
This is the new one because it's got the drain field and such in it. so that you can see the drain field stuff. The other ones were about 95% complete, waiting on the drain field to be done. And now that the infiltration testing is done and such, these are the marked up newest plans, has the pathways through it for all the electrical, has pathways through for all of the Wi-Fi and such. So we have new fiber and stuff that's going in, some culverts and stuff that weren't in there before that are going in. And so as you look through this set, you'll see that. A lot of the things that you'll look at is on page 3.1, I think it is, for the civil.
It's on what?
And it kind of has an overview. If you want to go up there and kind of go through it.
What was the page again?
It's kind of an overview.
I know, what was the page again?
Is it okay if I share, Hazel? I think I can navigate drawings pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Go ahead.
and it just gives you a good idea of all the piping and everything that kind of goes through there as you start seeing it. So, is that the, yeah. So, this is that.
I don't know if that's it.
I think it's 3.1. Hazel, I might have been.
I'm at a 4.1.
Actually,
James manipulating it.
Yep.
On 5.1 is a little bit cleaner. 3.1 is grading and drainage, just has all of the lines.
Yeah, I wanted them to see all the lines that were going, kind of going through there with all the culverts. So you've got culverts and stuff going all the way across. They're going to grade back here by the back of Peterson's field back here.
I'll share.
And so that water, we're not taking everything. Everything goes across. Here's your big drain field right out here in the middle. There's your 8-inch line coming from the playground, which is where all the water comes to from the parking lots, ties into the 18-inch culvert. It's got everything there. Then we have all of this is gonna be concrete. If you wanna go back up to an overview, Jay, this is all concrete here, all the way up through here. You get down here, the ambulance access road into it, that's just gravel through here. But that's for emergency access for it. And then we've got a sidewalk that goes all the way down around to the grandstand. So you can park here at the high school and walk over. We don't have a lot of parking there. Did you want to show the entryway, Jay? Yeah. Here's kind of the entryway to the new park at the parking lot of the elementary school. So we have this parking area. Main entryway will be there. Then there's gates all the way around the field to open up for different levels of play. All the kids at the elementary school will have access to this. We're also going to buy them some goals to put out there because they love soccer. We'll put some soccer goals out there. The Little League programs, they will still use it for soccer in the summertime out there on the fields. That'll be a lot nicer for them as well. They can use turf safe paints to paint their lines and such with. It'll be a nice area for people to come to and enjoy some sporting.
So the Little League can use this too.
Little League can use those. We have on the bases themselves, we've made it so that the girls field will accept 50-foot bases. I think it's 50 foot for them. So you can use it little T-ball. And then the boys field, we made it so it will accept 60-foot bases so they could use it for younger grades as well. So if they have a tournament or something they want to run, they can use it for tournaments. They can use it for us. Yeah, we want to make sure that it's multi-use and so that they can use it for what they need. We've done the best we can trying to make it universal and give some room for play. Like I said, the outfields are big, so that gives some room for our soccer programs, for the youth league programs and such. So I want to say it's like 323 feet up the left side. That's the shortest side of the boys' baseball field. The girls, it's a standard 200-foot field is what it is. You've got your dugouts there. Also, you got your bullpens on both sides. We've set it up for expansion in the future if we ever decide we want to build onto it. So yeah. Any questions on the field itself?
So when's this getting advertised?
Tomorrow.
Okay, how long is it open?
Till we open bids the 22nd of July.
Oh, wow.
So some key dates on there. So it goes out to bid tomorrow. There's a walkthrough, a non-mandatory walkthrough on July 8th. Bid openings are July 22nd. We'll bring it to school board approval on the July 28th for the low bid. The anticipated notice to proceed is July 29th, and substantial completion is August 27th of 2027.
And a reminder that this was, Linda Scarlett helped us write, the grant, was very instrumental in writing the grant. And so we'll give her kudos, when we open up the field. The grant itself is $1.2 million. The sticker shock is that what we were predicting at 3.5 million is going to be more up in the 4. We
We're
don't
hoping
know.
to see what the bid comes in.
We'll
at,
see
but
what
we're
happens.
Worried with inflation rates and such right now. So we did talk with some turf companies, and we'll talk about that here in just a moment. Move into
But the
that.
1.2 million, that the grant will come off in the 4 million.
First, yeah. And then you'll have options looking at, our investment earnings over the past. Remember, our 10 million in the county treasurer continues to build investment earnings, which are considered local dollars, as well as timber money, excess timber money in the debt service fund that Corey and I were talking about. So we'll have options that won't impact our teaching and learning. That really will be a local decision for you with local dollars.
No, this will displace the elementary school students out in the field for a year. So we've been working with Sarah and her staff and trying to come up with alternatives for the kids. And so, but once it gets there, they'll have kickball, they'll have goals out there. It'd be nice. They won't come in muddy. So,
Although they probably like that somewhat.
Yeah. So, any questions on the field itself or how it's being done or?
We're gonna do the same as we did for the football field. Add money to an account every month or yearly for replacement cost.
Yeah, we'll have that in the budget.
Now, the good thing with the fields are, when we talked with AstroTurf, they came out and they were here yesterday. And they were talking to us about it. And they said, your grass for baseball fields, it doesn't get tore up like the football field does or a soccer field does, for major play. And he said, a lot of times you'll get by 20, 25 years on your green grass side of it. He said, it's just your brown sections of your infield play and such that really gets wore out. And so he says, you add that in there. He goes, you're probably 200,000 for the fields, down the road. But that's a lot better than 700,000.
And then the other really important piece of information, we've had our field since 2015,
Yes.
2016. So we're on year 10. Generally speaking, at 15 years, they have to be refurbished. They come out and test and look at it. And because of our lack of UV rays, we really probably will have a 20 to 25 lasting field, honestly. Yeah.
It's in good shape. They come out yearly for us.
And then also because you take such good care of it. I mean,
Go
anytime
Ray,
we-
go
I
Ray.
know.
Takes everybody here.
Mhm.
So, but yeah. Any questions on anything there?
No, but we gotta pass it
Jay
tonight if
was
we're
on
gonna.
this.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thank you, Jay, for all your hard work.
Of course. Thank you, everybody.
All right, well, we need to, are there any more questions for Bill or Jay?
You can go home and study this. Mike. I know.
I plan on talking about the turf after you guys make.
Well, we gotta, we need to act on this. So in order to put this out for bid tomorrow, it needs to be approved by the board. So is there a motion then to approve Spartan Fields, Ball Fields Phase 1 plans?
I'll make a motion, we pass Spartan Ball Fields Phase 1 plan, so it can go out to bid tomorrow.
Second?
I'll second. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, Mike seconded it. All right, any last questions for Bill, Jay, any? No? Okay. All those then in favor of moving forward and approving these Phase 1 plans for Spartan Ball Field, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. They're approved. All right, Phase 2, Bill Henderson wants to keep discussing.
All right, let's get some turf over here for you guys.
Oh, that's. No pink, although pink would be nice. I think it needs to be traditionally green and brown.
Plus.
All right. guys want one of these from AstroTurf?
They have prices in it.
Okay, so we've met with AstroTurf and Hellas so far. We still plan on meeting with Field Turf, and we plan on meeting with Shaw as well. And so lots of differences between their turfs and the way they play and the whole 9 yards. So as I've done my research on turf, you know, some of the best ones I see, you know, I mean, these are all top. Shaw, Field Turf, Hellas, and AstroTurf are all in the top.
Hey, Bill,
Yeah.
you remember when we went to Chief Leshai, when we were looking at stadiums, they had a baseball field.
Yes.
Do you remember what stadium?
I don't know.
It was pretty nice.
Yeah.
Do they have something like this?
Yeah, it was more brown or, yeah, something like
I
that.
thought it was more tan.
Tan,
Yeah.
yeah.
They have lots of different colors.
Yeah.
So, but this is a Hellas material. It's called Pivot. And this product here that they have, it doesn't have any of the rubber granules in it, or there's sand that's added to this, but there's no rubber granules at all added to their turf.
So the ball's gonna react different on each one of these.
That's correct. And so lots of Division I run AstroTurf and such. And we'll talk about AstroTurf as we get closer. But this was different. Again, it doesn't have any of the rubber granules in it, crumb rubber. It just has sand. That's all they put on this. And so
These all have rubber.
that doesn't have any rubber in it. It will only have sand.
This will
when it's
have-
all said and done.
Is it the
I
same
didn't
as
have
that?
the
That's
rubber
all the
in my
same. This
washing
stuff's all the
machine.
same. This is different right here.
What do they suggest with that climate?
They all suggest their product is what they're, you know,
Yeah.
realistically.
That's nice. I like.
I mean, they do.
that.
Hellas is, you know, this is the best of
Playing
the
your bare
best.
feet on that.
Because it's, you know, maintenance friendly, because you're not having to add rubber and stuff to it. But at the same time, it plays a little slip, you slide a little more on this.
Hey, Bill, what do they have in Port Angeles? I know you guys went
They
and
have
looked
AstroTurf.
at
Is that
Astro.
what they did?
Which one's AstroTurf?
Volunteer Field is AstroTurf, and they
The
use
short one
the
there?
cheaper side of AstroTurf. So, you know, AstroTurf came out, they explained, you know, for high school, the 52 ounce, which is this stuff here, he goes, that's what you'd want to have, just 52 ounce in your outfield, and also the 52 ounce in your infield. It's a medium play, you know, you can go with the 60 ounce, but 60 is like Division I or Major League Baseball, you know. But this stuff will last you, is what he was saying. This has what's called a thatch in it. So there's a product in it, and I like the product that's in there. It's in both of these.
What do you mean a product?
That's thatch that's in there. Same thing as this one.
So what's the infield?
So, well, they add sand to this and the rubber granules in this one. This is AstroTurf, this one's
That's
Hellas. Hellas doesn't add the rubber granules, AstroTurf does. We could get acorns if you want, you can get olive shells if you want. There's all kinds of stuff you can do for infield, it just costs more money. How do you do it?
Olive
They
shell.
suggested just crumb rubber for this and sand.
Coconut shells.
Well, how's that stuff do in the rain if you're using shells? I'm, they just get moldy?
Well, that's what I thought. That was my thought process, but again, they do this at several walnut shells, things like that. They do it at other places. For us, the suggestion was just the sand and the crumb rubber
Well, I don't like that.
in the thatch material. So the cool thing with AstroTurf is that the batter's boxes, as they get wore out, because they'll wear, they're Velcroed in. You just Velcro it out, flip them around, and you use them up until they're done. They give you, I think, 4 sets. Same thing with their pitcher's mount. It Velcros off, and then you Velcro it back up in there and put your rubber and your sand back on there. So Hellas didn't talk about that on their product, but I thought it was a really nice piece with AstroTurf.
Yeah.
So, and all these are through KCDA and Sourcewell, so we can purchase any of these products. We're hoping to have a suggestion for you guys here before too long, once we talk with Shaw and Field Turf. Field Turf is planning on coming up.
Now, which one is this?
That's AstroTurf, and this one's AstroTurf as well.
But, so they have different products.
And what's that one?
This is Hellas's
Both
Pivot
AstroTurf.
series.
So if you pick one, you do the entire thing with that one brand?
Yeah, you do one brand. So if you picked AstroTurf, you do the whole field in AstroTurf, but you could pick 52 ounce for one thing and say, okay, we, it's not coming in where we want it to. We don't have enough money. You can do 40 ounce in the outfield if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So you
That
could
doesn't
change
wear
those.
as much.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what we need
Field
is
turf
a,
What we have on the football
Field
field.
turf
So
is
they
on the
haven't
football
been
field.
here yet.
They haven't been here yet, correct?
so what we need is a high, a low, and a middle.
Yeah, we plan on getting that for you. So far, we've only been able to talk to 2 companies, and we haven't been able to actually give them any plans, because they all want the plans, but we can't give it to them until it goes out to bid.
I bet you
So-
that stuff will cost way more than that.
It could.
So do the players and the coaches, they chime in on what they want?
They haven't really talked much about the turf. So
A lot of,
We
lot
just-
of fields are doing it now. Baseball, I mean, a lot more. You'll
It seems like
see
it's
them more
slide up
now.
horrible. I don't know.
from what I understand, it plays pretty well.
Yeah,
you know.
you get true hops.
Our problem again is we have to cancel so many events that it's a revolving door
That's,
and we don't get all the games in sometimes.
They ain't playing the rain now.
well, that's the thing, yeah.
Mhm.
You know, they can,
Montesano, they have one. What did they put down?
I think it was Sprint Turf.
What?
Sprint Turf, I believe it was.
And how do they like theirs?
They love it. I talked to people down there. You know, it's called Tegman Field. Pat Tegman, his dad was named after his dad. And he took it down there and showed it. And said they just love it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The good thing is it gets our kids back out on the field is the big thing. Because a lot of times, I think the girls last year had, 3 practices outside, I think it was, and the rest were inside the gym.
Yeah.
You know, also keeps kids from having to drive out to Beaver, takes that liability out of there so that you've got a nice sidewalk right over to the fields. In the future, we've talked about making that a little bit larger for storage and stuff off that bathroom facility, and then converting that play shed over to badgers cages. But we would wait because those
Small
plans are
steps.
nowhere. Yeah, small steps, because we plan on doing something for the playground for the kids over there and trying to possibly cover it if we can. So they'd have a covered playground, so they can be outside somewhat when it's raining. So we've looked at that in the future too. So, but it takes, a little bit to get there.
Well, we need the play sheds so the kids can play in there while constructing fields.
So we'll work with everybody on that, I think they're gonna be on the football field more this year, playing out there and such, so. But any questions on anything, you guys?
No, I'd like to hear back when we get them all in here again. Because we're gonna have to pick one and get some more research on different places that they like, I guess, and pros and cons from fields that have been in use for a while.
Yeah.
That's probably big.
It'd be good
You
to
guys
hear
can
from
have
some
these
kids too, I think.
Yeah.
That's what
That
they-
is played
Yeah.
on.
That
Okay.
have played on different
Mhm.
fields,
Right.
other areas, and just kind of what they
Yeah.
notice, what they like.
Yeah.
How many fields have our kids, how many schools that we've played in the last year or two have these fields? Any, that
That's
you
where they
know?
play at. Yeah, they're getting more every year. There's more,
Monty.
they
No,
play
we don't
Monty.
play them anymore, do we?
Usually,
They
non-league game.
Not really.
Was it South Bend too?
Yeah, South Bend, Raymond.
Yeah, they-
South Bend, and then, along that one.
Okay, yeah, that's cool.
So the injury rate
Plus
isn't any
state.
higher on either one?
Plus
You do GMAT
state.
District and
testing on
state.
your- So if you're gonna use it for soccer out in out in the outfield, we would still have to GMAX test it. And so, just like our football field every year, they test it for cushioning. They don't test the infields. It's only if you're using it for like soccer and such for GMAX. But if you're gonna get your GMAX test on that. So it should be, well, it's gotta be under 200 for GMAX testing, so
Yeah.
makes it into safe play. So
Under 200.
I bet a lot of football fields are at 200, you know that.
But under 200 what?
So what it is they take this big, it looks like a bowling ball, and they drop it through this machine, and it tells you the concussion. And so there is a formula up there, it has to be under 200. I'm not sure exactly what the 200 is, but I know it's a 200 number that it has to be.
If you wanted any of the reps, or if we get close to looking at 2 that we really like, we could bring the reps here where they could do the presentation in front of you. I think that's what we did with Field Turf,
Yeah.
where you guys ultimately are the decision makers. And we can certainly call places who've put it in to find out what the pros and the cons are.
Yeah, that'd be
Truly.
good to hear.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's always good.
they usually give us 3 or 4 schools for recommendation, that we can call personally.
And I would like the kids to come in too.
Yeah, it'd be good for them to chime in.
Okay.
Okay.
And coaches.
Yeah.
We'll
Okay.
continue with that. I know that the fields have already, the two companies asked us to send them the paperwork once we went out to bid because they'd like to get some estimating done.
So when do you anticipate going out to bid for the turf? Next
We're gonna-
year?
We're gonna go out. No, we want to get under contract this year, so within the next probably 3 months.
Mhm.
Okay,
It won't be installed probably
till
until,
27.
yeah. But the sooner we lock it in, like we did with our stadium,
Right, oh, absolutely.
you know what's happening with escalation.
Yeah, you could.
So you can lock the price in then?
That's the big thing.
Yeah, right.
Get that
Yeah.
contract done, so, perfect.
Well,
I appreciate
sorry to chime in, but not just escalation, but also, as you can imagine, everybody wants to install sports fields during the summer. So as you know, get it on their schedule is the big piece of that.
There you
I
go.
forgot about that part.
Sorry, that's my 2 cents. I'll mute myself again.
No, that's fine.
All right, any other questions about this?
No.
Okay, no action.
Thank you
Thanks,
for
Bill.
being here, Jay.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Jay.
Jay.
Thanks, Phil.
Thank you, everyone. I'll see you next month for some more Forks Middle School business.
Okay,
Thank
All right.
you.
all right, next up is Brenda King on our valedictorian, salutatorian requirement.
And just a reminder that we'll be bringing the student parent handbook to you either the end of July or mid-August. And one of the areas that we've talked about before is the language on Val and Sal. And so Brenda did some research and then we'll talk about what some of the options are.
So the reason why this came up is that this year at graduation, we had a homeschool plus student who had never set foot into Forks High School. So had been in the homeschool plus program since like 4th or 5th grade. They then transferred to Running Start their 11th grade year. And in their 12th grade year, when we looked at the data, it said that they would be our valedictorian, never stepping foot in our building.
And the Val and Sal are at Forks High School, not our other programs. In order for a student to access Running Start, they have to be enrolled in QVSD because the funding model comes through QVSD and goes over to Peninsula College. So not all of our Running Start students are actually students in Forks High School. And again, the handbook is for Forks High School students, not Running Start and homeschool.
So you'll have this little highlighted form right there, and this is the current language from our handbook that says students who enroll at Forks High School no later than the first quarter of their 12th grade year. So that's how the student who transferred in, that line right there, helped support students who had been here on campus to receive those honors for their academics. So with that in mind, Deanna Shaw, who I would just want to say thank you to because she did the research. She reached out to registrars, she reached out to principals, she did a lot of legwork on the backside of this. So her Crescent School District at this time includes Running Start students as long as they attend Crescent School with a full schedule for at least one full year, grades 9 through 12. So they could be eligible to be their Val or Sal. Their board policy is right underneath that, where underneath the highlighted, so I just typed up what their board policy said. SWIM only recognizes a valedictorian with a perfect 4.0. And Jen, in 2024, we had 5 valedictorians that year with 4.0s. That was because their freshman year, everybody got A's during COVID. Remember when we shut down March 13th? So all
I would say that those 5 were highly
they were
intelligent.
highly intelligent. They worked really, really hard and overcame a lot of adversity.
Adversity.
There you go. So that's the only time that we've had 5
What is it?
valedictorians.
What is weighted grades?
Weighted grades, if you haven't, and we do not have a weighted grade system. If we had ran a weighted grade system in Forks High School, instead of an A getting a 4.0 in an advanced class, they'll do on a 1 to 5, and then you average the regular classes a 4 to 1, and the advanced classes are 1 to 5. You would have to designate which are the advanced classes. So Sequim High School has advanced weighted classes. They're generally aligned to college curriculum.
Okay, but it's not used for their Val Sal.
Yeah.
No. So currently they're including Running Start students, but you're gonna see a trend that districts are trying to tighten up parameters around whether or not Running Start students are included in valedictorian, salutatorian, that honor. So PA High School does not have a val or sal. What they do is they follow like the college model, where if they have a 4.0, they award them summa cum laude and 3.8. So this is like the principal, high principal, and then honor roll. So if they honored that, and then we would do like a bio for every student that received those honors as we're calling them across the stage, talking about their scholarships, where they're going, kind of like that. So that's one model. Hopeland has one val, one sal. Monty is thinking about separating Running Start for regular high school students as well. They're not quite there yet. So I'm bringing this to you so that we can have some time to brainstorm and to create something that would support students and support students that are on campus while still honoring, our Running Start students.
So what do you do when you've got more than one? You've got 3 people, that qualify for the val or the sal.
Share it like we did that one.
Remember
But only
that?
one, you can have,
No,
a whole bunch of
2
speeches?
years ago, we had 5
3.
or 3
Not
val.
even 3?
Was it 3? I thought it was 5.
No, 3 years ago, sorry.
Oh, 3 years
Yes, it
ago.
was.
Got you.
Yeah.
Has it been that long? Yeah.
so what do they do when it comes speech time?
They all gave
Flip a coin?
speeches. No, they all gave speeches.
Yeah,
They were
Yeah.
short, weren't they?
they're very short.
They
and
were
sweet.
short, but they were good. Uh-huh.
And then the no salutatorian, just
Yeah,
the
no
5 valedictorian.
The other thing to consider too, which we would put in the procedure part of the handbook, is if it's something that a student who's going to be a senior can't go back and do 9, 10, 11, then you start it with the class of 2030, like the new class coming in 2030. You would not want to harm kids. You would, if there's a tweak where you could still get valedictorian and just do something different your senior year, then that wouldn't apply. We're just not sure yet what it would look like. I think our discussion at some point was based on if a student never attends here, why are they getting a Forks High School award?
Mhm.
That was the question. Because the college has other ways to honor students. We absolutely want to honor that they're a Running Start student, but it doesn't seem fair to the kids that stay in Forks High School, choose to stay in Forks High School and engage.
So we're gonna discuss this later.
Yeah.
I like the college one, the summa cum laude and magna. I like that one there.
I can't say that word.
Summa cum laude.
Comment?
So,
Yeah,
So,
no, wait a second. Board first, any comments?
Nope.
Go ahead, Rod.
so as somebody that's had, kids enrolled here and then taken the Running Start at Peninsula, or anybody that has, there are courses and advantages that the school can't afford to offer, that can be offered at Peninsula. So when you think about the honors awarded at the high school, I think you should also factor in those kids that are,
When I do my second presentation, I'm head on stuff
Okay.
for you, and I'll help with that piece. So, I present again later on in the consent agenda, so that'll help with the answer to some of those questions, I think.
So more
Is that o-
discussion to come for you to think about.
Tonight?
You want-
I got you a big packet, you just don't know.
Okay,
Anything else? This is just food for thought to bring to you.
No, this is good, especially, seeing what
Yeah.
the other school districts are doing and.
And locally, the ones that are surrounding us. So,
Also
So-
at Insight School of Washington and of course, was just there at graduation, but we no longer do Val and Sal because it's a choice school and kids are in and out. out of fairness. Right, Myron?
Yeah, that's correct. We stopped doing balance all a few years ago just because it just became too complicated to determine, because we have so many students that come in and out and determining, what determines residency for the honor. It didn't make a lot of sense for us to do that. So we no longer, we still do honor grants based on GPA, but we don't declare a valedictorian salutatorian.
Okay, so are you coming back another meeting or you have more for tonight?
She's got more for tonight underneath or somewhere here,
Under
under reports, yeah.
All right, so Rod, hold your thought.
Okay.
Okay, there you go.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Brenda.
Brenda.
All right, revised board policy 5201, drug-free schools, community and workplace.
The changes are semantics with the type of controlled substances, but the biggest change is the notification requirements. If a staff member has to take prescribed over-the-counter medications, they have to disclose that to human resource if the medication could compromise safety of a staff member,
Okay,
Or a student or just staff?
just staff members. Mhm. And it's in accordance with state law.
okay.
So if you're reading this, let's say an employee is under the influence of drugs or something like that. You have to allow them the option to go get treatment,
Mhm.
save their job for them. They get their job when they complete the course, come back to the school.
Mhm.
That's all part of the union.
No,
Contract.
that's codified in the RCWs, the Revised Code of Washington State Law. So it's not the union, it's actually Washington state law.
Okay.
And let's say that we gave an employee a chance to get better if it is considered an illness. And then the person comes back rehabilitated, but they relapse again, then there might be termination depending on what the exact circumstance is. Yeah.
Yep.
And again, that's in accordance with state law.
Okay,
I have a question.
yes,
When that employee is in treatment and not on the job, would they be on paid or unpaid leave during that time?
They would be unpaid leave.
okay. There was another question way in the back?
Does it include like prescription medications
Yes,
or like antidepressants or?
everything. If as I read it, it's everything if it would impair the teacher's ability to be safe with students and other staff and themselves. So it could be over the counter, something with alcohol in it, if they abuse it or, who knows what they're doing, so.
Even if we give the same treatment to somebody if it was an antidepressant or something, and say, hey, go get help, we'll help you get you that.
We have to by law.
Okay. All right, so we need a motion to approve or disapprove. Well, we'll not have a motion to disapprove. We'll have a motion to approve this revised board policy 5201. However, if you choose to disapprove it, you can vote no. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the revised board policy 5201, drug-free schools, community, and workplace.
I'll
Okay.
second.
Thanks, Ron. Thanks, Shannon. Any other questions? All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. All right, it's revised. Okay, let's go to reports. Leadership report, food services.
So
Sherry.
Sherry, before you begin and I introduce you, I just want to read something that the auditor, so there are two different kinds of audits. We will get we always get a single audit and a compliance audit from the state auditor's office. We also get comprehensive program reviews which we're getting a full one next year, where they look at every federal dollar that touches the district. And that is to ensure that we are conducting our business in accordance with the program of the dollars that we receive. Sherry's comes from the federal government, so it's under scrutiny. And so this, we were scheduled this year. They will subsequently come back, but I want to read, I'm really proud of the work that our staff do. And they go unnoticed, especially what I call our unsung heroes, and that would be Sherry and her department. So before she tells you about the nuts and bolts of everything and why she has to do the things that she does, I want to read what the auditor wrote. The food service director, Sherry, does an amazing job at meeting requirements, meeting students' preferences, and running a positive and uplifting team of passionate food service professionals. The documentation provided at the time of the review was also very well organized and easy to review and access. Minimal correction action indicates a well-run program. Please ensure to share the kudos with on-site staff, as Sherry is a wealth of knowledge and an asset to Quileute Valley School District's team and the surrounding community for all of her hard work to ensure the community is provided with nutritious meals. So congratulations. Sherry.
So I just wanted to go over what this review is like. In my industry, they call it the big one, because it's big. And it's about a 4-month period of time, schedule in certain increments of what they look at every single thing we do. So I'm just gonna quickly go over, this is what each standard, professional standard that they go through. And I'm not gonna read all this because you have it. So the first portion is the child nutrition eligibility and the SNEEB. Okay, so what the SNEEB is, because we're a CEP school, which means every child eats for no cost, no matter what.
Community Eligibility Program is what CEP stands for.
And I apply for it every 4 years. This is our second round. So this is year 6, I believe. But because of those numbers for free and reduced, they fueled other pots of money that is really hard to not have. So the state came up with, we send out these forms and they're asking families what your income is. So family income, I can't remember the full name, it's long. Anyway, we send those out and those help to fund, what is it, E-rate.
Our E-rate is for all of our technology, federal technology assistance. We get quite a bit of it. Our learning assistance program for high poverty levels, and that would be for not regular instruction, but additional support for kids outside of the classroom or on top of our regular teaching. Our Title I program, it really hits a lot of our federal programs.
And so those forms have to be done extremely well and they have to be put into Skyward, and we run reports like crazy on these to make sure they're absolutely accurate. So there's that portion, they call it Performance Standard 1. There's also our claim for reimbursement. And so as the children, eat their meals, we compile that, and every month we put a report into the state and we get paid for those meals. Then there was Performance Standard 2. That was the menus that I make, the production records. So I make the menus and I have to be, well, I don't know, I've showed you guys before how we have to have the subgroups of the vegetables and a certain amount of fruits, and certain meat alternates, certain amounts of grain, all that goes into that. And so when the food service staff is actually preparing those meals, they keep a production record to make sure that we are absolutely putting out the exact amount of food that we're supposed to per the government's regulations. And that's a lot of math every day, a whole lot, on top of cooking and, measurements and all those things. So we also have to have a CN label. So every product that we get, whether it's commodity or it's off the free market, they have to have a CN label to be able to sell it to us for us to be able to give it out. And what that CN label is, they're certifying the company, the product, that there's this much meat alternate and this much grain, or that the fruit is no sugar. I mean, so we have guidelines that we do that with every day. Let's see, what else is there? And the meal patterns have to be right on. So I have to make sure that we serve legumes once a week. And I have to make sure that we serve enough for every child to get a portion. Then there's, it goes on. Then there's, so they come, so the month of review, they review me for the entire month of April. So I send everything we've done in April. They focus on the 13th through the 17th and make sure that everything that I said we did. And then they come out and they're on site. And this year it was the middle school. And they watch every meal service to make sure each child is getting the proper amounts on their tray. And they check our temperatures of everything. They check our cleanliness. They check how we store and stock food. So it's really, she was here 3 days. So she goes through everything. And then we get to the general areas, which are civil rights, which is very important. The training for all of the people in food service. I have to have 12 hours a year on top of I have to take a class to be certified to do what I do. And then the cooks have 6 hours of training and the clerks have 4. And you have to document that. There's also limited English proficiency, make sure that is all, done correctly.
How about the Made in America?
Oh, I'm not there yet.
Okay.
Okay, and then, so then there's the food safety training, which is a separate portion of the training. Temperature logs, food safety plans, the storage facilities. Then we get into Buy America. So I have to go through each one of my invoices and put what product was not 51% produced in America. And I keep a running spreadsheet. And then I take that cost against what we spent, our revenue or our expenditures for that year. And I have to be 10% or under. And we were 7%. So we did good. But in the year, I believe 32, we're gonna have to be down to 5%. The problem with that is America produced food is more expensive and harder to get. It's the truth.
Not crazy.
So that's just the truth.
Maybe things will change.
What's an example of food with 51% un-American food?
So that's a really good question because I'm still quite not sure of it. So like Dole, okay, they get the food, they process it. So say they get a bunch of, let's pretend peaches from Brazil or pineapples from another country. Then they chop it all up and they package it in America. That's 51%. Although that fruit didn't come from America.
Right.
So I have to be really careful. Where did this come from? What happened to it? And how much of it was done here?
And that's all on you to research that?
Wow. And that is a challenge too, because of, we're at the end of we're considered a food desert and we're at the end of the road. So we sometimes get what we get.
Yeah.
Well, my honey is mostly Argentina, the Philippines. It's not made in America. A lot of it.
Right.
So we don't serve honey.
Especially the stuff you get at the store.
So
You ever notice that?
Last time you brought us treats, you brought us jicama.
right. And the jicama is, so I choose, I guess I'm doing this to myself right now, but I choose certain things that I know aren't produced here because the kids like them and because we can't get them here. When we started serving jicama, kids wouldn't touch it. Now we go through 10 pounds in a day, easy. And kiwis, okay? I know not supposed to do that, but if I know I have that 10%, I'm gonna be real picky where I use that 10%. Do you know what I mean?
Because
Yeah.
kids like it.
Because I don't wanna throw it away.
Well, and they're not unhealthy for you.
What?
It's,
And it's
those
healthy.
things are not unhealthy for you and they eat
And
it.
you want them to have, I
Yeah,
want them to have
it
more
seems to
of the
kind of
fresh.
backwards.
So where are we at? Oh, yeah, that US, okay, so we're gonna bypass that, we're done with that. And then there's, special dietary accommodations. And that one's tricky because if a child is got an allergy and we have to have a note from the doctor, we also have to have the physician. They're moving it now to also PAs or physician's assistants, they can sign those too. And, so they tell us what they're allergic to, but then the form, and it's a state form, what would the doctor think is a good substitution for that? And we'll get the forms and they're good, except for the substitution part, because they don't know, you know? And we've had kids that were allergic to many things, and then you're trying to figure that out. And we do a really good job of that.
Do you get cross-contamination sometimes with stuff?
Sorry?
Do you get cross-contamination?
We're very careful. If I go to get a product, say it's a granola bar, and it says on the package, is made in a factory with peanuts, doesn't have peanuts in it, but it could be cross-contamination, I don't even buy them. If I have peanut allergy kids, because peanut allergies, that's really severe.
And do you get input from parents for substitutes for parents of
We
kids
do,
with?
yeah. When it's really hard, I'll meet with the parent, go, give me some help here.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you doing at home, you know? And sometimes we can make it work and sometimes we can't. So, but we try to. Okay, then there's the wellness policy, which is a work in progress. I need a committee. It's hard to get committees sometimes. So I'm gonna keep going out for that. Summer school food right now is going on. This was our second day. And so I had to show, you know, how I do that program. And a comprehensive resource management review. That was mostly documenting that, I don't know how to say that right. I'm using the revenues correctly. It was a procurement. It was a procurement part of the audit. We got no findings. I'm really happy to see that. We got no findings. We did have, I hadn't completely, the by US, I had done the work. I didn't realize that the back page was the calculation. I didn't do the calculation. And so then we did the calculation and I'm gritting my teeth going, oh, please. And we were good. So, but now I know that that last page of this really long thing is the calculation. We have to work a little bit on our training because it's just so hard. They're the first ones here in the morning. They're, you know, it's really hard to work in trainings, but we're going to get better at that. They did get training. I'd like them to get more comprehensive training for them because they deserve it. My team, I gotta say, I'm gonna cry, super awesome people that care about kids and work really hard.
How big is your staff?
7.
4.
I said I wasn't gonna cry, damn it. And I think that pretty much does it. You did good.
So the county can pop in sometimes. The
Oh,
health
they do.
department do
We
inspections?
usually get them about 3 times a year. I post them. We always get 100% on them.
Yeah.
With summer meeting program, before the meeting started, you said you had about 50.
So today, yeah, it's a little lower this year, but the what, I don't know. We've
No, it's at
got,
the river.
yeah, I think so. And we had 40 for breakfast and we had 52 for lunch.
And you're serving 2 through 21-year-olds?
2 through 18 years.
18-year-olds, okay.
The day before they're 19, they can come.
Okay.
And what are the times?
8:30 to 9:15 in the morning and 12 to 1 in the afternoon.
And anyone can come.
Yeah, anyone can. Hey, Mike.
Mike, you're not between 2 and 18.
All right, am I off the hook now?
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. All right. Yeah. Brenda?
So I also want to congratulate Brenda King and her staff. We are in is this our second year?
For this grant.
The second year of a College Success Foundation, which is through a Gates Horizon Foundation grant, supported by the West Sound Tech Center, which is actually in Bremerton, and our school, as well as Crescent, Nia Bay, Quileute Tribal School, is a part of this in our area because of the needs of our students, and it's really to get kids to go first generation to college and or technical school. But I want to congratulate Brenda and the work that they've done for dual credit, but she's going to go over the what we call the celebrations. I was at a meeting where they were providing kudos to Brenda and her team here at Forks High School. So I'll let you go ahead and talk about
So
it.
this paper pretty much talks about the goals of the grant. And this, like Diana said, this is year 2, and so year 1, we got 24,000, year 2, we got 11, we'll get 11 next year, and they just told us they're gonna extend it for another year, so we'll have this grant for 4 years, which is really, really good news, because they were worried that with cuts, from Gates Foundation, that they were gonna have to,
Tailor it all.
tailor it off, yeah, but it's been really, really successful. So I have a college success coach that's on campus that comes out. He's gonna be out here weekly next year, but he would come out 3 days a month, and then he would meet with kids. What he's primarily doing when he's meeting with kids or students is that he's doing one-on-one counseling with them, getting them their FAFSAs filled out, and then helping with, and here he hosts lunches with a pro, and then he helps facilitate a lot of field trips for us. On the other side of that is me and my team, and we've been working on the dual credit, increasing opportunities for that. So right now, you'll see on number 1 how I spent the money. Excuse me, number 2. So increase dual credit articulation, enrollment, completion, and it's increased exposure and awareness of college and career. So this funding of my 11,000 is helping paying for a college and career fair. It's helping pay for training for dual credit and increased AP courses. Bren has his own budget. That's my college coach. He has his own, so I don't have to tap into that. I get to use mine and keep it protected. On page 2, it kind of talks about how many students that we serve with financial aid and food trucks, which was really, really cool. That event, we brought a food truck from Port Angeles, and then we had like a FAFSA night, and there were 18 students that completed their FAFSA at that time. Next year, I'm gonna have dual credit opportunities. I'll speak a little bit more about that too. And I'll come back to get the courses and my course catalog updated and approved for you before the beginning of the school year. So that's gonna impact 191 kids. Professional development, 191 students are gonna be impacted.
And we're working with Central Washington, CWU. That's where a lot of our students tend to go. And what courses are you working on? Are you getting there? I'm sorry. Okay.
That's okay, it's exciting. So, and then we had 52 students participate in campus visits this year. I'll talk about more of those campuses too, because it's not just college. I just need to clarify that. And then 192 for the college fair, and then 60 seniors for senior signing day. So that's how the money was spent this year. And I'm spending the rest of it. Actually, I spent it because I'm sending a team. We leave tomorrow after school, and then we have our training for college and high school on Thursday. So if you go to the impact report, right here it looks like this. Okay, so some program highlights for the 25-26 school year. So the 191 is a projection for next year. For this school year, it impacted 217 students, so Bren was able to connect with 217 students. He helped plan and execute the spring college and career fair with 200 students in attendance. We also invited 217 plus because QTS came. Next year, we're gonna invite QTS, Crescent, and the
Nia Bay
to come and be in attendance on
and
that
Clallam
too.
Bay.
And Clallam Bay, thank you. So that'll be, we'll get more people into our building. We had led 3 field trips with students highlighting college and career options. To Peninsula College, we had multiple trips to PC to see different components like their welding program. Next year, they're having a scrub day where they can do like a field where students get to do a 2-day internship where they get to pretend like they're doctors and like see things.
Oh, cool.
So it's a really great opportunity. And we took a trip to PLU and Herman Brothers. So like I said, it's not just college focused, it is career focused as well. So last year they went to doctor for a day at UW. They've just had a lot of really opportunities, increasing opportunities for our students. We had 2 financial aid events through financial aid food truck and Dollars with Donuts. So we brought people from PC and Peninsula College to help with interpretation. And we had a really high turnout with a total of 29 students and 18 families between the bowl. So we held 4 pizza with a pro events on campus. So we had the PUD in here, we had OMC, Aramark, and I want to say that there was one more, and it was like Fish and Wildlife maybe?
Yeah.
Okay, that one's just not on here. But just kind of getting students to see. Brent said that when he started, at the beginning of the year, there was only 2 students. At the last one, there were 30 students in attendance. So imagine 31 students in here, but he had a total of 81 students total that he had invited to those events that are hearing, pros actually speak about their job. He enrolled 14 seniors in College Success Foundation's service to support their transition. So we have college coaches on our 4-year universities that have already met with our seniors this year and have created liaisons with them so that they can support them. So we have one at Central, and she was here at senior signing, and then we have one at Western. So then those kids have like a coach that's on that campus, and they also have opportunity to tap into funding. So say that they need to buy a laptop because they don't have that resource. If they reach out to their coach will make sure that they get that. So I think we have 5 students going to Central next year and 2 going to Western. So they've already made connections with those people. Then here comes my happy part that I'm really, really excited about. Just here go, Diana. So we were partnering with Central for college and high school. I have 3 teachers who have been articulated. So I will be able to offer 3 English credits, 3 English courses, English 101, 102, I don't know the name of it, I think it's 105, but it's creative writing. They will get 1 high school transcript. I was looking at transcripts today. 1 high school credit, and then they will get 5 college credits for every one of those classes that they take. So yeah, they can potentially leave me, go to their school with 15 credits in English already under their belt, working towards their bachelor's degree.
So are those AP classes?
No.
And are we have the teacher teaching it here?
I do.
And,
Yes,
We
so I
have to
3 of them.
and it's
certify.
as rigorous as it would
It's
be?
rigorous, and they're already doing the training. So we'll be able to offer humanities right there. So they'll get a history credit. That's another 5. So that's 20 that we're at right now. And then Art 2, I don't know what the art code is yet, but if they take Art 2, another 5 credits. So they'll be leaving me with 25 college credits right there, plus their 5 high school credits that meet their graduation requirements. So it's a really, really cool opportunity for kids. I've also been working with Shelley Castellano. So she's working with Olympic College through the CTE program. Her articulation was just approved where if they take 1 class from her, culinary 1, they get 15 college credits through Olympic College. Culinary 2, 15. So we're just waiting for that guy to press the button and say yes. But I have 4 teachers now on campus that are 3 that are finalized approved, 1 that is almost there.
And how do these college credits transfer to other schools besides Olympic or
So
Central?
That's the part that you can't, but so you can,
You
Yeah.
matriculate into that school, and then if you're gonna transfer it to another school, it's between the 2 schools, I
Yeah.
think.
but 101 and 102, 101 is a prereq for every, English 101 is a prereq for every course, so that will transfer to whatever school it's there. In addition to that, we have the increase in our AP courses. I'm offering AP Bio next year for the first time ever, which is a caters requirement. So I'm no longer limited to just teaching physics.
It's a what requirement?
College academic requirement,
Okay.
distribution, I can't ever remember the D, but it's a caters requirement. So
I'm no longer limited to just physics and chemistry. I can open that, and I have a high number of students who are really passionate about biology, so they're like really excited about that.
Oh, cool.
That's amazing.
So we've been
Exciting
working
things
really hard.
happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are at 50.9% for FAFSA completion rate, which the state is at 51.5. So we are almost there. Last year we were at 43%. So 28 of our 56 seniors were able to complete their FAFSA. So that number right there. There's just a lot of good work and a lot of support from CSF and Gates.
And so some of the scholarships, at least I have been on several scholarship boards, they require that our students fill out the FAFSA. And in the past, it's been an issue with Forks kids because they don't have the FAFSA filled out. But now they report when I go to the board, the Holler board. Now they can do a printout, what Brenda did, and you can see the huge difference just in the last 2 years. Our goal would be to get as many kids as possible because most of our kids think they can't afford going to college, but there's lots of money opportunities through the FAFSA.
And we already started planning for next year on increasing the number of outreaches that we do with students, families, and those opportunities. And then we already have our college and career fair scheduled, ready to go. So it's just, now it's becoming a nice oiled machine. The last thing is that the training. So my art teacher, my English teacher, my history teacher's already trained, but my administrative assistant, a counselor, and my registrar, we're all leaving tomorrow to go finalize our training so that way we can make sure that we're implementing this program correctly. So we're gonna do a lot of new learning. So if you have any questions, just let me know. It's just a really great opportunity for kids. I've chose a partnership with Central because most of our students go to Central and they stay when they go to Central. So I've had a few that have gone to Western that come back just because I think it's too urban, and Central's more rural, kind of like us. And then I looked at partnering with Eastern, but it would have taken me longer to get done than Central would have. So, and you guys know that I'm on bias towards Central.
Yeah, so kind of add on to that, 2-3 years ago, I was at WASDA and I went to a workshop on the same thing. Then I came back and talked to you. And she goes, I'm into work, so just be patient. And she's done a great job because this was a small school, I think it was Madison.
Yeah.
Over there, and they had 6 students that spoke at that. And they had been in Running Start for quite a few years. And they were out, they couldn't go, and it was through Central, but they couldn't go to Central because it's too far away. And so they had to get certified within their school, what their teachers did, someone that was like Brenda did there, and it was amazing how it worked out, so.
Zilla High School has it where, because her principal is just amazing, so he was able to map it out, match his articulations where his students never had to leave campus and were able to, they left for one summer course, but they were full-time in brick and mortar, graduate with their, I think he said BA. I haven't looked at it since the first year. So right after you told me about it, I started researching it.
Yeah, it was, so yeah, kudos to you on getting that going, because I think rural being out here, I think it's a great thing, so. Keeps the school kids here too, instead of off campus.
Yeah.
Good.
So that's, I'm just hoping for a good year.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Brenda. Keep up the good work.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to say to Rod, I apologize if I sounded like I snapped at you a while back. It was not intentional.
That's all right.
Did she answer your question?
I don't know the concern. It's kind of a generic concern that you don't alienate somebody who is strongly identified with the high school just because they took advantage of another opportunity. But for instance, they participated in sports here for four full years. They're identified as a Forks student in that way, but maybe they're attending classes for a portion of that time somewhere else. And so, I don't know, it's just, just something to put into the discussion and keep in mind.
I appreciate that. We appreciate that. Thank you. All right, financial reports.
So this is your monthly financial report. And we are looking back at May. May is a short apportionment, as is June, July. The biggest apportionment is in July with 12.5% and 10% in August. So we saw 5% apportionment. We were able to pay our expenditures with an additional $21,000 for the month. When we are looking at our net cash and investments in the general fund for May, we ended at 9.7 million, 14% of our $71 million budget. And we're really close to, we believe that we're going to end the year probably right around 10 million, 9.8 million. And then again, if you look at our net cash and investments, the chart, it's really right on where we've been the past 4 years. We met our minimum fund balance at 5%. We have reserve funds that we have to spend in a certain way, usually federal dollars at 38.38 for a total of 5.38 with an additional unreserved, undesignated 8.47. So if you go to the budget status and you look at the general fund, go to the sheet that looks like this in your packets for the general fund. I spoke about local support non-tax. We budgeted $579,000. That really is most of that. There's some fees and fines, they're minimal, but most of that is our investment funds. And so we predict by the end of August, we'll have a little over $500,000. Those are the one pot of money that's considered local dollars that you can transfer into capital projects when we're looking at filling the gap for one of our projects. And then the same thing with our debt service fund. And so we're going to pay attention to those dollars. I don't believe we're going to need to transfer any funds for this current fiscal year 25-26, but when we get into the larger part of the project, the fields in 26-27, we'll budget for that. And then that's got to be your decision. That's part of your role as a board, is to monitor the budget and make the big decisions on moving those dollars, but I'll make recommendations, of course. The other thing, our bus was finally came. We had some brake issues. I mean, we've been waiting on this since October. Remember, we bought it in last year's.
Now that school's out.
Right. We're already, if you look at our transportation fund, our reserve funds are nearing $550,000. And so every other year we schedule to purchase a new bus. I talked to Bruce today, and the bad news is the price has escalated.
Oh, really?
Yes. I think the last one we bought was right at $170,000. The new quote that we have is $230,000, just to kind of give you the difference in 2 years. He said it's a really slick bus. We will not be getting electric buses because it doesn't make sense for us when you're traveling so far.
No. Can you imagine?
No. The other thing I want to report, we're still getting local timber dollars in our debt service fund. So if you look at our reserve funds or our ending fund balance, we're now nearing 2.6 million. To sustain our debt and pay our debt, we need 1.2 million. So we're almost doubled. And again, that is just because we have a bond out and we're receiving timber dollars. And there's a lot of discussion about the woeful industry right now, but DNR is still planning and producing, at least in our junior taxing district. And so that's good news for us. Harvesting. They have sales planned as well. Ron can talk a little bit more about that in board report. And again, I know next year, and So when the sale goes out, they have 2 years to log. So we might get a sale done in our junior taxing district now, but
Not see any money for 2 years.
yeah, just to see when the market's right and other conditions are right.
So what's going on with the set aside and how that affects us? Anything? Ron can talk about that too. I don't know.
We have been discussing it at our revenue advisory committee. I need to bring the documents with you. I think there's 77,000 acres and it does affect some of our junior taxing districts a little bit. I don't know exactly. I asked for a map so we can see exactly if it's going to be the hospitals, us, or where, what it's going to affect.
Yeah, you should bring that one sale that affects, how many people it affects.
Okay.
You know, they did that work up through the rack on one timber sale.
There's some here. There's
We should discuss that at meeting.
next meeting.
Because people don't really realize it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
It's not only in Clallam County, it's all over.
No, it's all
Yeah.
over the state, yeah.
Okay, that's.
Thanks.
Oh, and then moving on, I just put our yearly average enrollment rather than going back through June. But we really are right on the money with brick and mortar, 823, we're down 7. That's what we had budgeted. And then if you look at Insight, and remember we gave the cushion, so that was intentional, so we didn't have to do the budget extension. I think the average, we ended right about 3,000 with a total of 3752, which puts us in a mid-sized school district.
Does OSPI get irritated that we put cushions like that? Because don't they pay us on what we budget for, and then they've got to take the money back?
They pay you through the month of December what you budget, and then in January, remember, we paid the chunk back. Yeah. Nope.
They don't care. Okay, that's it. Sounds good. I hope everybody out there on school vacation is enjoying the sunshine. Okay, let's move on to board member reports. Start with Mike. You got anything?
Yeah, graduation. You know, more times than not, it's hot and stuffy in there. Isn't there a way we can get fans in there or something to try and cool it down? Or
I told Hazel to turn on the AC.
So I had set 2 fans by the door for them to plug in.
One blowing on us.
At the end.
That's a big area.
Yeah, I did have the air, so we just circulate the air, but there's no air conditioning, so it's just taking that air and circulating it.
Maybe put a tray of ice cubes up by it or something.
Yeah.
The old swamp cooler idea.
Next year, bring your own little fan.
Oh, yeah.
I have a couple of those.
I get one to clip on my hat.
Yeah.
A big extension cord sneaking all over the floor.
But you hear it from a lot of people though. It's hot and stuffy in there.
Yeah. And that even happens on a cool-ish day,
But it
so.
was only an hour long, so that was.
An hour and 4 minutes.
It was nicely done.
That was good.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Anything else?
Nope.
Kevin?
That was a graduation. It was hot.
Ron?
Yeah, just kind of to touch on what Diane was talking about. It's tended the quarterly DNR report off. They have them every quarter for the junior taxing districts. Us, the representative school district, and Rod Fleck was there from the city of Forts. We were only 2, but you know, the hospital, the fire districts, they all get money from junior taxing districts. So this year, I'll just go quickly through this. So last year, the years from June through July is how they do their years. So, or July through June is ending. So they did 93 million board feet of timber last year. I think they were looking at 113. The sales got pushed around, and some of the stuff Bill was talking about too got
This is
taken
the
off.
state?
So yeah, this is the state DNR. So not all sales. Some are common school, which goes into we explained this before. It goes into the school bonding program throughout the state. but the state trust lands are lands that this state had taken over and from people that didn't pay their taxes or whatever years ago. So the state administrates that. And then the junior taxing districts get that money within our taxing district. So like sales around Forks, that comes to Forks. You want to go to Clown Bay, go to Clown Bay, Cape Flattery, and then Port Andrews Squam, same thing. So anyway, that's kind of what we pay attention to a little bit. And they did a 20 million fee last year on that and board fee that came back to our school. And some of those sales I'm looking at them, some of them aren't logged yet. So probably in 3-4 months or 6 months, we'll get that revenue. So then their forecast, and this is what they were forecasting for this year, it's went up quite a bit, 170 million feet. So that's quite a jump from 93.
Yeah.
And that's their projection. Now, I don't think we're gonna get there, but we may, so.
Could be injections.
But the stuff that comes back in the taxing district to us, junior taxing district, this year's only 11 million. So there's only a few sales that are gonna be coming back to Forks. At least there's some out there. So kind of average about 15 million is what they project on an average for junior taxing districts.
Board fee
And that's the money she
money. Oh, million.
talks about
Mhm.
on that. So
That's quite a bit.
the outlook is good. And like you said, it's 2 years. And so some of the sales get logged right away, some in the second year. So we don't see that money. And people ask, well, they sold it, why don't we get the money? Well, you don't.
You gotta have a product.
So anyway, it's a good program we get.
Great, thanks. Sure helps us.
It does, really does.
Yeah, it really helps.
Thank you for attending that.
Anything else, Ron?
No, that's all.
Okay, Shannon?
I attended graduation also, but the sound system was great, I think. this year.
Oh, that's the first year I've
Yeah.
ever heard that.
We got everything worked out.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
everything I thought went really smooth. The kids did great. They seemed so excited, and I love hearing about all the scholarships and their plans, and it was that was fun.
Yeah, I bet. Good,
And yeah, it was only an hour.
good. The only thing I have is this hot weather has reminded me that we are probably going to have more of it. And it seems like it would be a reasonably good investment to put some of those one or two of those ductless coolers in the district office. It can't, it couldn't be that much, but it seems like it would improve work. I'm not saying your productivity is down, but it would certainly improve people's moods not to actually cook while you're
We
working
actually
in
have an
there.
air conditioning in there.
Hmm?
It's just that side of
okay.
that side of the house, that side of the office gets really, really hot because of the,
Well, that's where you should put
Windows.
one then.
Yeah,
Oh,
those mini splits, aren't that much.
No, and you could do, I
Kevin
did
could
one
go
myself.
to that.
Easy.
Yeah.
Bill could put one in easy. I've done one.
well,
Real easy and easy.
well, I'm mainly thinking of Hazel, who has no windows,
Oh,
and Diana, whose windows are west facing during the hottest part of the year. And then, of course, the break room, that's important. But it was just a thought,
Well,
that's all. Put it on the list,
Christmas list.
yeah. Myron, what have you got for us?
Well, you guys are all talking about graduation. We had an amazing graduation in Tacoma. We walked about 200 students that showed up at the graduation, so we're excited for them. We're anticipating graduating over 350-ish kids this year. By the time we're finished with summer school and confirming our June grads, we're doing that work right now. So we're super excited. I just wanted to, I know I saw it on the agenda, that Terry and I would love to invite you to the Board and Partner Summit. And I think that would be an amazing opportunity. I know that Ron, I think you've come out to that before with us, if I remember correctly, a few years ago. So we'd love to have you join us. Did you want to add anything, Terry, about the summit?
I just want to introduce Terry. Terry, yeah, are you there?
I am. Yep, I'm here. I've been here. I've been enjoying the meeting very much. So thanks for having me. Yeah, I could do a quick introduction. As you know, Sheila Schiebler retired not too long ago. I think most of you know that. And I'm the interim vice president for the Washington schools and the Oregon and Idaho schools with her retirement. I've been with K-12 for a long time. I've been the executive director at a school in Colorado. So Myron's similar role for the past 11 years. And for the past year worked more at the corporate level, supporting state accountability and career and technical education for Stride K-12 at the corporate level. Anyways, I'm really excited to be here. So thank you.
Great. Glad to
Welcome,
have you.
Terry.
Should we introduce ourselves?
Yeah, why don't you, each of you,
I'm Bill Rhodey.
Mike Reeves.
Kevin Hinton. Ron Hearn.
Shannon Dahlgren.
You'll be tested in 5 seconds.
I know. It's harder when you're not in person, right? This is a hard test. I think I've actually might have seen a couple of you if you've been to the board summit before.
Ron for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely have seen you there. And like Myron said, it's coming up in October. Last year it was in December, if you remember, and that wasn't such a great time for many folks. So it's in October and we'd love to have you out. There's a great agenda already in the works.
Good. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you all for both.
Thanks so
for
much.
everything. Okay. What's that?
Yeah, Myron, do you care if I tell the story about our graduate who's in a wheelchair?
No, that was a really touching moment. We had a couple of really great touching moments at graduation, but that was really sweet.
And she said if she was going to graduate, because she's been pretty ill, that she was going to walk across the stage. And so Myron and team got there early and they wheeled her up to the stage and she successfully walked across the stage. There was
Our
pretty
staff
moving.
is amazing. They actually helped, instead of having her stand with the rest of the graduates waiting, they had her back there in a wheelchair right where the students were entering. So that way she was able to join the group and basically reduce the amount of time that she was standing, because her dad wanted her to be wheeled up, and she's like, "No, Dad, I'm walking." So it was really it was a cool moment.
And also, the 3 speeches that you had from diverse students was really 3 young women. And then they closed the ceremony and they were absolutely precious. They did such a great job.
Yeah, it's a great experience. We'd love to have you come out. We'll be doing it on a Saturday again, and I don't think it's the same day as the Forks one, so it'll be much easier. So we would love to have you join us.
Myron,
I know Diana was a little bit risky getting back to Forks for your graduation.
I was stressed.
Yeah.
I was like, "Where's Diana?
Yeah.
Where is she?"
But anyway, kudos to a great
Graduation
ceremony.
is canceled
Yeah.
for tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Myron.
Thanks, Myron.
All right, let's go on to new business, if that's all there is on the old business. Our annual board of self-assessment.
There's a link here. If Hazel, do you know how long they have to do that?
You just have to send
10 minutes.
Okay.
I tried to click on that last night. I couldn't get it to open up.
I just sent you guys a text with the link that you can access from.
That's
the
mine's already
Just send it?
14%, and I haven't done nothing, so I'm almost there.
You're doing it now?
No, I mean, it's already comes in, already 14% completed, so I guess it's open it up, you get 14.
Just for opening it.
And if you don't do it, there's a $100 fine.
And then just a reminder that we'll be doing a board retreat where we set our goals based on the self-assessment and then how the year has gone. We'll set where you identify your new goals for the 2026, 2027 school year. I will probably have the leadership team come as well in case you have questions or want input. We'll spend the first hour with me and you going over your assessment and creating our goals for next year. And then the second part, we'll get input on other things from our building leadership team. I'll send you dates and times and you respond in an email and just respond what will work for you. And we'll probably do it if we can get ONRC. We'll have food as well for you there.
Oh, Mike will be there then.
I know.
Mike really takes a hammer in here. Okay. Does that take us through C?
Well, C is the announcement for the K-12 board and district partnership in
For October.
October.
Yeah.
If you are planning on attending, please respond by June 30th.
Wish I could.
And then the next one is the WASDA conference. We really need it's in Spokane this year, November 19th through the 21st. And if you are planning on attending, I will attend. Let Hazel know, because to get into the hotel, the Davenport Hotel, we have to respond pretty fast, right? And great opportunity to learn from other school districts.
Okay.
When in October, what's those dates in October?
What are the dates again? For the Stride partnership?
For the Stride Summit, let me pull
Yeah.
up, hold on, give me 2 seconds. They are October 7 and 8, basically.
So
Like kind of a
we,
come-in day, and then the 7th is the actual big summit day. You'd fly home on the 8th, I should say. So you'd probably fly in the 6th, summit the 7th, fly home the 8th, being so far from Washington.
Sounds like you're climbing a mountain.
What's that?
Sounds like you're climbing a mountain.
Oh, yeah?
Fly in, then summit, and then fly home.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Well, I'm from Colorado, just like you all. We got those big mountains, right?
Right.
okay.
Where's that
Okay.
at? That's Washington DC?
Actually, it's in Herndon. Yeah.
Right
In
out.
Right
Herndon.
outside. Yep.
Best
Yeah,
airport to
very-
fly to is Dulles, probably.
It's a really good setup they have, and you learn a lot. It's, about the school, so.
Good. All righty then, we can move on. We talked about the WASDA conference. Let's then move on to approving the Inside School of Washington CTE pathways.
Do you need me to give you any context for this, Bill, or you good?
Would you like to? Why don't you?
I certainly can. So again, remember under House Bill 1599, the state of Washington allows career and technical education courses, 2 years of those to count towards a graduation pathway. A lot of our students in Inside Washington utilize CT pathways. In the event that the 4 courses are not in the same cluster as defined by the state of Washington, the board has the discretion to approve those courses and then with your approval of those 4 courses, then we submit those to OSPI for the final approval. And if any of these combinations get approved, students that take any of our courses, even the students, because we have some students from Homeschool Plus, if they take these same courses, that could count towards a CTE pathway for the state of Washington.
Can you go into this health and wellness photography pathway a little bit? What is the end that one would hope for going through this pathway?
I think what the intent here is for students to that are trying to blend health careers and digital photography together is what they're trying to do here, because those are kind of not within the same piece. And then you'd end up with, there's a lot of jobs where that may be needed, right, to be able to take photos for those types of purposes. That's the intent, I think, of this particular career, from what I understand.
And I take it you had some students who were interested in that, hence that's why
We have
I
some
saw-
students that are, when we generate these, what we're seeing is we're looking at the course combinations that students are taking, and we're saying, hey, that doesn't match the pathway. Is there a way that we could potentially make that a pathway that would be approved by OSPI?
Okay, good. All right. Anybody have any questions for Myron on that? All righty then. Is there a motion to approve Inside School of Washington CTE Pathways request? Ron says he, is there a second? Okay, Kevin seconds it. Any questions pop in? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say no. It's approved, Myron.
Thank you. And we can certainly let you know if you're interested. We can certainly report back with Diana whether the OSPI approves it as well. So this is
Okay,
the
that
first
would be-
step.
Yeah, that would be good to know. Thank you. Okay, next is establishing a club, the Forks Middle School Youth Alive Club. It needs a motion to approve the establishment of this class. And their funds are gonna be used for snacks. That's good. Mike, you might wanna join that if we're all piling on. Okay, Forks Middle School Youth Alive.
I'll make a motion to establish the club FMS Youth Alive.
Second.
All right. Any questions that can be answered from their application? Okay, then all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say no.
That is a new one, isn't it?
It's new one at the middle school. We have one at the high school. We've had it for 2 years, 3 years? Okay.
How, doesn't say how often they meet but I guess that comes next for them. All right. Next, is establishing a club, the Forks High School.
Did we vote on that?
Oh, maybe not. Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And then Kevin
You and Kevin. Shannon.
bounced off.
Oh, yeah, second.
No, that was a long time ago. All right, we did vote.
Okay.
Yeah, and it passed. It was approved.
I'm sweating.
Hey, you guys trying to catch me out here. All right, we need a motion to establish a club, the Forks High School Fashion Design Constitution, for Forks Fashion Design, their constitution and bylaws.
I'll make the motion, we approve the Folk Fashion Design Constitution and Bylaws.
Okay, is
I'll
there-
second.
All right, good.
Is there a big interest in this? Well, fashion design's big.
I think that's exciting.
What's that?
We got a new student and she was really passionate about it from her previous school that she was. So she brought me a proposal and said, can I make it happen? I said, can you find an advisor? And here it is.
Who's your advisor?
So, I think it's Miss Miller.
Oh, I have a fashion show and everything. You'd probably like to do
That's
that.
exciting.
You could be a model.
Okay, well then, all those if there aren't any other questions or comments, all those in favor of establishing the Fashion Design Club, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. No, I mean, no, nobody said no. Okay, that concludes the business part of our meeting. We do have an executive session that it is at 8 o'clock. We will leave for executive session and we will be gone
Be back here by 8:20.
by 8:20 for the purposes of a public employee performance review. Thank you all for being here. If you want to stick around until the bitter end, you're more than welcome. It's,
Oh,
I
thank
don't
you.
know that it's any cooler outside than it is in here, but anyway, thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Terry.
Goodbye.
Thank you. And Bill, do we anticipate any decisions being made after the executive session?
Any actions?
Any action?
Oh,
Probably.
thank you. No, there won't be any action after you come out.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, bye-bye.
Yeah.
you're ready.
Okay, we are back from executive session. There's no action to be taken. We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Papers to sign.